Hello, folks, and welcome once again to WKNI TV 25. There we go. We got the right one. And I want to welcome Jim and Deborah from the Andalusia Area Humane Society. Thanks for coming back on again. We had to bump you last week. I had somebody else scheduled in.
We got bumped for Santa Claus. That's okay.
That's right. Santa sat right there. But boy, here's another Santa Claus opportunity. Got two beautiful cats.
Yes, we do.
Wow. Tell us a little about them.
Okay, this is Sheba. Sheba is an applehead Siamese, and we're not quite sure how old she is. She has been spayed. She was a surrender to the Andalusia Animal Shelter, and she wasn't doing well over there. She was having to share a room with another cat that had gotten very territorial about it, and so we brought her over to the Humane Society to give her a little bit of space. And over time, what I've learned about her is that she's kind of a loner. She would do well in a home where she's the only cat, I think. Not that she wouldn't adjust, but I think that would be the best place for her. And it would be great. She appears to have been an inside cat. She's not declawed. We really don't advocate that. We don't promote declawing cats.
Because they can get out any time, and we've had that unfortunate, sad situation ourselves where we had declawed a kitten, and then one day he bolted out the door and never saw him again, and you know, that's a bad thing.
That's a bad feeling.
You really can't defend themselves then.
It is.
Well, and the other thing that we know about declawing them is that once you do that, they have a tendency to become biters. And because you've taken away their first line of defense,
right?
They do tend to become biters, and that can make them undesirable. So, but anyway, Sheba is, as you can see, she's pretty laid back. She's pretty content. I think she's a little bit scared right now too.
All the lights on and everything going on.
But it's okay. She likes to sit beside you. She likes attention. She'll let you know when she's had enough. She's not necessarily a lap kitty, but she'll...
So she's not a Siamese, or is she a Siamese?
She is a Siamese. She's what they call an applehead Siamese. And that is actually the original Siamese. From what I've been able to learn about it, that's the original Siamese, you know, before they started breeding them for show.
Okay.
You know, you get the ones that are really thin and have the thin faces and everything. But these are more of the original. She's a seal point.
That's it, seal point.
Seal point.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, we had years ago a Himalayan Siamese cat. Mm-hmm. Oh, you talk about a personality. That cat, I mean, it loved you or hated you, and there was no in between.
No in between.
And when she loved you, she would be all over you. When she hated you, you'd look like you just went through a meat cleaver. But man, I'll tell you, that was one wild cat. One day, she mysteriously disappeared. I have no idea what happened to her. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to
it. We had a Siamese that was that looked very, very much like Sheba. It was a he, and he was a bigger version of Sheba. And so when I saw her on the Facebook page at the shelter, my heart just immediately identified with her. And I walked in over there, and she really had not come out of her shell hardly at all. And I walked in, and she just came out for me. And Kristen says, well, there you go.
Well, we have another guest, and it looks like a little smaller cat, younger cat, and just very interested on what's going on around him or her. Is it a he or she?
It's a he.
A he, and he's a beautiful cat.
Yes, and he's already been fixed.
Oh, has he? All right. And he had a run-in with a little incident that happened to him.
He has a little place on him where he was caught in a car.
He was found under the hood of a car, and he'd gotten a radiator burn. And the lady that brought him to us had been keeping him and taking care of him and doctoring him, but she was not supposed to have animals where she lived, and she couldn't keep him. And so we've got him. We think he's probably about 14 weeks old. He's very lively. He's very personable. He likes to be held.
He
likes to play. He's a kitten. He is really a kitten, and he's just a real sweetheart and beautiful. He's going to make someone a great a great pet. Our adoption fees on both of them are $62. And the $62 is actually the cost of, if someone came to us on our spay and neuter program, say, and they had an animal that they wanted us to fix under our spay and neuter program, their cost under that program would be $62. It includes, and then the Humane Society has this program that we work with our local vets, and we help with the cost. And so that would be that person's cost, it's $62, which covers their share of the spay neuter plus a rabies shot. And so that's what we ask when we adopt the animals out, and that money goes right back into our spay and neuter fund, which then just pays forward to another one. And so that's...
He's finding the microphone interesting.
Maybe he'll speak for us.
Yeah.
You say meow?
Well, these cats are available for adoption.
Yes.
And how, I know we got to ask, what happened to Willie?
Well, Willie is still waiting to be adopted.
Oh, no way.
I know.
That big old lap dog?
Willie is still waiting for his forever home. And
I think he's
very
attached to
comfortable
you.
where he is, but he's...
Yeah. But that's who was on here last time
Yeah.
with you, week before last, and beautiful mix. What was it, lab?
Mixed lab, and we really don't know what the rest of it is.
But a personality that is
Yeah.
just absolutely incredible, and kind of like this kitten here. He's getting rambunctious now. Wanting to see what's going
wants to
on
play.
the other side. Oh, he saw that little bit of nibbles over there. But now, you heard us just do a segment on, a lost family. And not all animals are abandoned. A lot of animals are lost
Yes.
away from their families.
Yes.
And you see, we talked about rescues and things like that. And when I saw this dog up I saw it on Facebook first, and they were looking for a forever home for it. And when I saw the description of the dog, common sense hit me and said, that dog belongs to somebody. Nobody would hold on to a dog with those special needs,
Right.
okay, if they didn't love it. And they wouldn't just throw it out the door, okay? So, I contacted, Dr. Drumhiller, and anyway, long story short, we're on the path of trying to find the family of that. And you all do the same thing when you have someone that you're trying to get back. It's either an adoption or find the home that the people own the animal from.
Yes, we try to network, get the information out to as many people as possible when one has been lost or found. A lot of people send the information. We'll start with the information that they've lost a dog, and the internet has been incredible about helping to network and find and find that kind of information.
People get attached to, they say, how can you get attached to an animal like a child? Okay, I know some of you are sitting out there going, Eddie, it's real easy. I know. I got 4 of them, okay? and I got 2 dogs and 2 cats, and I'd go crazy. But it's real easy, isn't it?
I wonder, how can you not? How do you not think of them that way? They're just they're just precious and helpless, and they give us so much, and they don't ask a whole lot of us.
Unconditional love for unconditional, circumstances, and they, like you say, they don't ask. Some people get mad at them and be mean to them, and then they look to them to love on them when they're needing love, and it's a vicious cycle for some of these animals, but they're very precious indeed. Another life that we're given the opportunity to be a part of.
Absolutely.
And that's how
And they're all unique, and they're all unique individuals. And if you just pay a little bit of attention to them, you get to know them so quickly. Grayson is a perfect example of this time of year. It's really important to be careful about the fact that they do seek warmth in the hood, under the hood of a warm car engine, and so he's lucky. He's going to be mended. His little place is getting well.
Now, pretty much, he's a feral cat that somebody found.
Well, he was a kitten that just was on his own. There weren't any others with him that we know of, and so we don't know exactly where he came from. He could have just, he could have gotten lost.
Some of the best pets that I've ever had have come from nowhere.
Just wandered up.
Just wandered up. And
Yep.
it's like a little man. He came in a pack of dogs one day up to my front yard, and I tried to find, because I knew somebody had to own him. I mean, he was a miniature, or what do they call him, Jack Russell. And there was a bunch of miniature Dobies with him, and there were some Chihuahuas with him. And it looked like somebody
Oh, my
broke out of some kind of pen somewhere. And there was at least 10, 15 dogs out. And in my yard, and little man came running up to me and jumped in my lap and hasn't left. And when he first done that, I tried diligently to get out and say, hey, I found a dog. There's a pack of dogs running. Mr. Knight, the dog catcher here in Andalusia, he said he's seen the pack 2 or 3 times that week, but it was gone. And he figured that they went back home, and, their owner found them. And he said, you done everything you could. So little man ended up staying with us, and I'll tell you what, he's been my best buddy. I mean, it's been 14 years.
Yeah.
So
They find you. It is important for people when they do find a pet and they determine that it's lost from its owner or whatever. If you're in the city or even in the county, it's important to at least notify the folks at the shelter, because that is where a lot of people will go to look for a lost animal. And it's fine if you want to give it a temporary home while you're waiting to find it, but don't keep it to yourself necessarily. You do have to,
Right.
like you said, you have to put it out there and try to find the owner.
And the microchip has really changed that a lot.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that microchip, because I saw something on Cops Reloaded or something last night, and it was the second time I'd seen it, where a lady had a pug-nosed dog that she had lost like a year ago. And she thought for sure that when she drove by this house that her dog was in the fence. That was her dog. So much so that she went and got the dog out of the yard, sat in her car, called the police, and the police came out there. Well, the dog was chipped. Her dog was chipped, okay, and this dog was chipped. And the animal control came out there, had the chip reader. They read the chip, and it was not this woman's dog.
Wow.
Okay,
Yep.
so, it works both ways. I mean, here's a lady that her daughter was out there crying that they've had this dog for over a year, and that there's, if it belonged to the lady, she wanted to go back. But she had also gotten the dog from somebody that said they found it. And, but it was part of her family for over a year. And here this lady came and claimed it. If they did not have a chip, it would be her word against her word. Okay, and the chip was valuable.
Yes.
So, it's not that expensive to get done, is it?
No, it's not. We will at all of our fundraisers we have microchipping for a very low fee, and any of the animals that we adopt out will be microchipped. That's a plus for something that we do.
That's
And-
included in that
and-
$62.
Yes, yes, and it's all you have to do is register it as the new owner. It's there's not a fee or anything, and you can keep up with them that way. And no matter even with our best efforts, they do get away from us sometimes, and it's always a good thing to have.
He's like, I'm ready for a commercial break.
He's ready to play.
Yeah, he wants to
He
play.
has so much energy.
If he gets down, he will just start running.
We
And
have
you can't
got
catch
one.
him.
Yeah,
You can't.
we've
He's
got one at the
fast.
house.
You're
Same
fast.
colors, very similar, but it's a female, and she gets running. I mean, we've got wood floors, and she will slide across them floors just running, and she just does it back and forth, back and forth. We bought a bunch of those little toys, and we threw them on the floor because we wanted her to have something to play with. She has got them toys strewed all over the house, and she'll just pick one and go to the next one, and so on. The dogs, she'll lay in wait, okay, for the dogs. Our dogs are old, okay, and this is a kitten now. And our dogs will be walking up to go get a drink of water or just walk around the house or whatever, and she lays and waits and pounces on them. And, it's cute to watch, but I can imagine how little man and Dee Dee get frustrated. And they're just wonderful pets. And,
I love it when dogs and cats occupy the same spaces together. I think it's just an incredible
Well,
thing.
last night I got to watch Little Man and Little Bit, I guess is what we call her. We call her a bunch of names. I got a bunch of names for her.
Some you can
I
even
lay
say on the air.
I got, yeah. Well, no, I don't get that bad, but I've got some real pet names for
Trying to get
her.
away.
I'll be laying on the couch, okay, and I'm laying down. My sizable, little belly is there, and all of a sudden she'll just come up and start, pawing on it, and I'm like, and no, and she brings blood when she does that. Yeah, so we clipped her nails a couple of times, and you say don't declaw them, I'm going to depaw her.
Well,
Yeah, she'll be walking on nubs. She keeps it up.
a lot of times the kneading behavior they don't really use the claws necessarily.
Oh, she does. She does. Every chance she gets, she does. I'll give her to you. You can take care of her and break her of that habit. She is up for adoption still, isn't she? But this was a feral cat that wandered into our home. And some bad weather came in, and we closed her up in the garage for about a week. It was during that month of bad rain. And we didn't want her out there. We've seen a couple of cats run over on Highway 29 because we live right off of 29. And I said, no, we can't do that. So we kept her in, put a litter box out there, and now she's moved herself into the house. And I'm looking at this. This is a very content kitty.
I don't recognize this one.
She is just.
I think it has to do with just she's not familiar with where she is. She's usually a little more active than that.
Take a quick break. When we come back, I want to go ahead and talk about some of the things people sometimes don't think about: cold weather and the pets, and then y'all's role in the community of helping with the pets as well. Talk more about that and your building and the fun that you've got going on with that as well. And Saturdays, right?
Saturdays?
No, you do
The adoptions.
Adoptions on Saturdays?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I want to make sure I'm on the right track.
Saturday.
Folks, remember, keep it real, keep God in it. We're going to come back with the Andalusia Area Humane Society, Jim and Deborah here, and let's see, I can't remember cats' names.
Sheba
And
Grayson.
They need a home.
They need a home.
Call, what's the phone number?
582-2665.
If you want one of these precious little babies. We'll be back with more right after this. Hello and welcome back once again to WKNI TV 25. We have Jim and Deborah here from the Andalusia Area Humane Society once again. I want to thank y'all for coming on, and this is going to be a weekly thing. The holidays is going to kind of interrupt it a little bit, but last week you got preempted, and I apologize for that. That's called double booking in our industry.
It's okay. It was Santa Claus. We didn't mind.
Yeah, Santa had to be here.
Can't find me.
But he's got
Thank
a
you
tight
for having
schedule.
us.
Oh,
Thank you so much for having us. This is wonderful.
well, we
It's a wonderful
appreciate y'all
opportunity.
and what y'all do, and there's a lot of agencies out there that work together, but you always hear about the Humane Society. They're always the ones that are the stable icon in the community. And I'm not saying anything bad about any of the rest. There are a lot of good intentions out there, but y'all come with a history of stability, and that's important.
The Humane Society of the United States celebrated an anniversary this past week, and a lot of people may not realize that it's really not a parent organization to our local humane
Oh, okay.
societies. We are all independent. The local humane societies are independent organizations with their own boards, and we belong to the Humane Society. And in Alabama, we have a state director from the Humane Society of the United States. Her name is Mindy Gilbert, and she lives up in Jasper, Alabama. And what they do is it was actually started to bring information about more widespread animal issues. The local groups were focused on their local environment, and so that was the purpose of it. And they do come in a lot of times, like in Alabama recently, they've been involved in the raids about the pit bull fighting and
Yes.
that kind of thing. And that is the Humane Society of the United States. On a local level, we're not really involved in that. And that's
Something
how they
hideous
work.
like that.
That's how they work with the states and help to advocate for better laws against things like that. And but as on a local level, we are a 501c3. Where all donations to us are tax deductible, and we are an all volunteer group. We don't have any paid staff in our organization, so we always need members. We need volunteers. We're a member organization.
We were talking about off camera and before we broke last time, the weather's fixing to change. Tomorrow we're supposed to have the coldest of the colds, and that's going to last up through the weekend. Some very cold temperatures. The highs are going to be like in the 40s, and that's cold for us. Now, for these animals, people say, oh, they got fur on them, they can find a place to go, especially after it raining like it has. Their fur gets wet. Okay, the ground's wet. There's no place safe for an animal. They say, well, how did the deer survive? They're acclimated to that, but a domestic animal is not acclimated to it, and they can be severely injured or die in this cold weather. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's very correct. And there's a good rule of thumb. If it's too cold for you, it's too cold for them. They can't, obviously everybody they can't all be inside.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have animals living in their house. If you can bring them in when it's really, really cold, that's a good idea, even if you keep them in a kennel overnight, something where you can provide them with some warmth. If not, there's some things that you can do for their houses outside and to help give them some better insulation and protection from the weather.
Oh, my dad, back in the day, we had an outside dog. We had a dog house for him. And what he would do on the cold weather days is he had an old shop light, the ones that used to hang under the hood with the cage on it, and you have a 50-watt bulb in it. He would take that light bulb and he'd put a hook inside the dog house and hang that light up in there for the dog. And she would jump in there, and she had a rug and everything, and she'd get all up in there, and she'd stay warm, probably warmer than us, that was in the house with that 50-watt bulb. So there's a lot of different things you can do for them outside. The main thing is don't leave them exposed.
Don't leave them exposed. The ground literally steals their warmth. If you have a dog house, it's good for it to be up on a wooden pallet or something in between it.
It has to be a layer between.
You can take old blankets and lay it over the house to give a little bit of extra insulation. The red cedar chips that you can buy are really good for that. And for just giving them a little place just to kind of burrow into, or oat straw, hay, anything like that they can use to help retain the warmth of their body.
All right, time's almost run out. Tell us a little about what happens on Saturdays, how people can help you out financially, how people can contact you for adoptions.
We'll be at the building Saturday from 10 to 2 with Sheba and Grayson and Cy and Willie and
Willie needs a home, folks.
And maybe
Give
even a
Willie
couple
home.
more. And we'll be there. And they're if anybody wants to come by and meet them, we'll have some signs out. We're at 411 Pearl Street.
We'll try to be there this week.
We're at 411 Pearl Street. We'll be there from 10 to 2. And I know it's a holiday weekend, but a lot of people will be in town. And if you're out and about, just stop by and see us. And
Come by before the big game.
There you go. You must be talking about Florida.
Sure.
Oh, man. Well, I get in trouble on that one. But anyway, phone number to contact you at?
582-2665. And we're online. We have a website. It's the AndalusiaHumaneSociety.org. And we're on Facebook at the Andalusia Humane Society.
That guy he's stealing it right there.
He's too much, isn't he?
Yeah. He's been really, really precious. And that one there, folks, you got two wonderful pets right here. Great Christmas gift. And do y'all check out the people that adopt?
Yes, we do.
Okay, I wanted to ask you that.
We ask the people to come to the building and meet them first. And when it's possible, what we'd like to do is deliver them ourselves
See the house.
and do a home visit and see the animal and with its new family in its environment, and make sure that everybody's on board with having it be
Because
there.
it's important that everybody's happy, not just take it home for a couple of days, say, okay, and then the animal,
Needs to be a good match.
it has to be. And that'll not just spay and neutering, but that'll also cut down on animals being thrown out and walked off and,
Yes,
and
yes.
so on. So.
And when you're dealing with rescued animals to begin with, you have a little bit you just have to make sure that you're doing your very best to find them the right home the next time.
Well, we want to thank you all for coming on. We want to thank the shelter here in Andalusia for all the great work that they do
Yes,
over there,
yes.
working hand in hand with y'all as well. And looking forward to seeing y'all out there Saturday. Jim, you got yourself a buddy there.
Yeah. That's a great cat.
Yeah, he is. And he's healing well, and
Oh, yeah.
he's readily available for adoption, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And both cats, that's a nice, beautiful cat.
Isn't she beautiful?
Both are up for adoption, folks. Contact them at their phone number, and we'll or stop out Saturday and see them at 411
Pearl Street,
Pearl Street.
just off Stanley, past the Cahey Funeral Home.
There you go. I know exactly where you are now. Duh. Okay. I was sitting there trying to think of where you were now. I remember. But come on out there and visit with them. Have a lot of fun. Hey, support. You can become a member. You can become a volunteer. Lots of help needed out there. Folks, remember, keep it real. Keep God in it. God bless you all for what you do. Thank you
Thank you for
coming
having
on.
us.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for having
Happy
us.
Thanksgiving.
And you too.